It's time for your money. Today, 66 million investors can't be wrong, at least they haven't been so far in this bull market. A special report on the $5 trillion mutual fund industry.
Mutual funds clearly have become the Godzilla of the investment community.
Funds have not taken over Manhattan, but they have changed forever the investment landscape.
Mutual funds brought to me the home I'm living in now.
A comprehensive report on the mutual fund revolution, straight ahead on Your Money.
This is Your Money with John Metaxas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this special edition of Your Money. Imagine, if you will, $5 trillion. That's enough to feed the poor of every nation, enough to launch thousands of shuttle missions into space. $5 trillion is also the amount of money invested in mutual funds, much of it passing each trading day through here, the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. It's quiet here now, opportunity perhaps to reflect on what might be called the mutual fund revolution. It's changed our lives. For example, now when a baby is born, a grandparent may think of buying a mutual fund instead of a savings bond. In today's program, we'll give you some tips on managing your portfolio, and we'll look at what might happen to funds if and when the bull market ends. But we begin with perhaps the most profound impact of mutual funds: wealth to the middle class. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our special coverage of Dow 9000. I'm John Metaxas.
And hello from me as well. I'm Terry Keenan, and a special welcome to viewers of the CNN Airport Network. Well, if at first you don't succeed, just try again. The Dow Jones Industrial Average again surpassing the 9,000 mark. On Friday, the Dow couldn't stay there. Today, a very different outcome. And let the celebration begin.
Well, just 8 months after the Dow scaled 8,000, a new milestone, the Dow posting its first close ever above 9,000. Credit the three financial stocks in the average: American Express, JP Morgan, and the Travelers Group. One man who was not invited, at least we doubt he was, is our guest, a former Virginia senatorial candidate himself, former national security aide, and now a conservative radio call-in show host, Ollie North. Mr. North, welcome to Washington Unwrapped.
Thank you, John, and you're right, I was not invited, and if I had been invited, I could not have attended since I had a prior commitment.
Well, I think the prior commitment, perhaps it was the fundraiser for Senator Warner's opponent. You have endorsed his opponent in the primary, James Miller III. Is this tit for tat? Our viewers may recall that when you ran for the Senate, Senator Warner took the step of endorsing your Democratic opponent.
No, John, it's not tit for tat. What it is an effort to get a good Republican elected in Virginia, and I don't think John Warner can get reelected.
With the market up so high, should investors be thinking about a defense right now?
I still think we're on the offensive. I'm surprised how quickly the market went up, but rates are still low, and rates are generally more important than earnings or valuations. I still think you can make money in the market.
But one small gain in Microsoft did nothing to prevent another big sell-off in the NASDAQ today. Let's go right to John Metaxas at the NASDAQ market site with a look at another dismal day for those tech stocks. John.
Stuart, the two-day sell-off we've had in technology now showing that the NASDAQ has not yet escaped the tentacles of the bear market. We had earnings warnings in some of the smaller technology stocks and the general concerns about the economy. The result was a bad day for the big caps and a bad day all around. Cisco Systems, the most actively traded stock, down 12.5% on the day, double the normal volume, 100 million shares changing hands. Rumors that Cisco held a special board meeting to discuss earnings problems. Cisco said they would not comment on those rumors, but the other big caps were down as well, with the exception of Microsoft. Sun down about 10%, Oracle down 7.5%, Intel down 5%. There are some real concerns in this market about valuation, and those were reflected in a note today from Merrill Lynch about the biotech sector, saying the sector looks overvalued to them, and they're cautious for year 2001. Take a look at the performance of the biotechs today. The move out of the biotechs actually began on Wednesday when the Fed cut rates, but the Merrill Lynch note just accelerated things. Among the other movers today, we saw a potpourri of stocks from different sectors within technology. Ariba, the business-to-business stock, hitting a two-year low, not since September of '99 have they traded this low. Juniper Networks, networking stocks were weak. Equipment stocks such as JDS Uniphase were down. The chips were down today. And the business-to-consumer internet stocks down as well. eBay with more than a $4.50 loss. The next big event for this market, earnings, start to trickle in next week. And it seems as if investors, at least now, are betting that those earnings will not be good enough to send this market immediately higher. Stuart?
Not a good start of the year. John Metaxas at the NASDAQ. Thank you.
From New York, this is Business Asia.
Hello, everyone. Bleak news about Japan's job market sent Tokyo stocks sharply lower. That news reminding investors that any turnaround in the economy is not likely anytime soon. The key Nikkei index plunging more than 1.5% to its lowest close since mid-January. The Nikkei tumbled 254 points to 15,395. Spearheading the LDP efforts is former Prime Minister Kiichi Miyazawa, who joins us today. And it's our pleasure to have you with us here today. Thank you for coming.
Good to see you.
What other economic measures, other than the postal savings, are in this plan?
Well, I think public works program, most likely additionally spending on public works, one, a tax reduction, and recapitalizing of banks.
Now, in the past, many reform efforts have failed. Why do you believe this one will be different?
Oh, in the recapitalizing the banks is the very first thing we never tried.
That sluggish automobile transmission, that lousy paint job, even that mysterious clunking noise. They may cost you hundreds, perhaps thousands to fix, but you may be paying your auto mechanic for nothing.
At any given time, there may be some 500 or so secret warranties on all the car models in the United States, but few consumers know about them.
The auto companies do a better job of keeping secret warranties secret than the Defense Department does in keeping military secrets secret.
If the government orders a safety recall, car owners will get notice. But a manufacturer may decide to fix a less severe problem or extend a warranty without giving notice. That can leave a car owner in the dark.
He can go out thinking he has no warranty and pay $700 or so for a new evaporator, when in fact, if he'd have brought it to the dealer, he would have had it done for free. Now that really hurts.
The burden is on the consumer to find out.
Here's for a front suspension noise.
Dealers get official word of extended warranties, but your mechanic may have access to the manufacturer's technical service bulletins. They can tell you a lot about your car. For example, Mercedes has instructed dealers to replace the sway bar bolts on its new sport utility vehicle.
While manufacturers are reluctant to disclose their hidden warranties, if you call their 800 customer service number about a specific problem, they will likely disclose whether it's covered.
And you can also find help on the internet at the government's nhtsa.dot.gov or at a commercial site, alldata.com. But it can be a game of cat and mouse. For example, Chrysler's extended warranty on some air conditioners applies to a leak in the evaporator, but not a leaky hose or condenser. 4 states, California, Connecticut, Virginia, and Wisconsin, have outlawed secret warranties, requiring notice be sent to car owners.
If you've already paid for a repair covered by a warranty, keep your receipts and parts. Manufacturers will reimburse a persistent car owner. After all, in car repairs, as in life, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Well, there's still more to come on Your Money. Stay with us.
In this morning's edition of Your Money, John Metaxas looks at the reasons behind the surge, and this is the first of our 2-part report on America's bankruptcy boom.
Call it an economic paradox. Times are good, people are working, the stock market has boomed, yet personal bankruptcies are at an all-time high.
It was choking me, you know, living with all the debts, all the payments that I had to make, and try to survive, you know, my daily life.
Fueled by an explosion of credit cards and a boom in casino gambling, triggered by personal crises like divorce and medical emergencies, and made possible by a legal system eager to grease the wheels, personal bankruptcies nearly tripled over the last decade.
The fact of a bankruptcy does not have the same impact today as it did a generation ago, and that may well lead to a diminution in the kind of stigma that formerly attached to a personal bankruptcy filing.
Bankruptcy can provide a fresh start for people who have accumulated so much debt they cannot pay it off. Debtors have a choice: Chapter 7, which eliminates most debt, or Chapter 13, which lets them stretch out payments while getting protection from creditors. Increasing numbers of affluent Americans and even some celebrities are filing.
When I found out, especially watching on the news and the newspapers, that more and more people are doing it, and it's not just a middle class, you know, upper class too, rich people, everybody's doing it, and I said, why not me? You know, I'm just one more of them.
Critics say bankruptcy laws are being abused. Congress is considering reform. 2 proposals are pending.
The main goal of bankruptcy reform, in my judgment, is to discourage people from discharging all of their debt when they can afford to pay some of it back, to protect the consumer who's losing the real money in this, the one who's the good credit risk.
It's an age-old debate, the rights of creditors against the needs of debtors.
While there are people for whom this is an easy ride, for the vast majority of people, bankruptcy is not an easy ride.
Bankruptcy may be no easy ride, but in today's easy credit times, more and more Americans seem willing to admit financial failure and pay the consequences for a chance to wipe the slate clean. John Metaxas, CNN Financial News, New York. Let me conclude by asking you, what are your plans for perhaps higher presidential office? Are you planning a run for the presidency?
No, right now I'm just focused totally on being Speaker and hopefully saving the Social Security system this year.
All right, Speaker Newt Gingrich, thanks very much for joining us today.